Welcome back to the Father and Son News Show here on RadioFire.com. Thank you for joining me. Diamond K in here alongside my father. How you doing, Dad?
Yes. Glad to be here.
D. Williams.
Radio on fire.
All right. Every Tuesday, we are here unpacking political and social stories. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the like button. All of those interactions help the show. So without any further ado, let's dive in. We knew something was going to happen. I didn't expect it to go this way, though. Brandon Scott has been elected unanimously, District 2 Councilman Brandon Scott, that is, to fill now Mayor Bernard Jack Young's term as City Council President. So Brandon Scott was elected back in 2011, and Scott will head the City Council until after the 2020 election. So he's going to be there until December 2020. And if you remember back in 2016, he was the running mate with Jim. How you say?
Somebody.
Shay?
Yeah. I knew that was a losing ticket.
Yeah. Well, he's yeah. You ain't heard his name no more since that. Yeah, it was wrong. He's running with the wrong guy.
Yeah.
But So of course we know Jack Young taking over as the acting mayor after Catherine Pugh went on leave of absence last month. And then he officially became the mayor with her resignation, and that signaled this turn of events. Strangely, though, Jack Young wants to run for his old job in 2020, and I find that to be, weird.
Right. Well, I heard him on the radio talking when he took over as mayor, that he indicated then that he did not want to be mayor permanently. And the guy on the radio kept saying, "That's crazy." What do you mean you don't want to be mayor?
I want my old job.
Right. But I still say that Jack Young is old school. So he playing curveball. See, everybody else is, I'm running for mayor. I want to be mayor. He's just laying back. And he said, "Now, I know if I do a good job here, I get a onslaught of people who just want to support me and just make me run, Jack, run. You done a great job. We want you to be the mayor." You know what I mean? Instead of me having to say I want to be mayor. I think that's the way it's gonna go.
So the humble approach. You think that's the best? That's the best
his personality. Approach? Yeah, that's he's kind of laid back.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of a southern kind of strategy he has going for him. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I think that it's better to be strong, say what you want, mean it, and be strong. You know what I mean? That's
not his personality.
Whatever you guys want. Whatever the East Side says, that's what I'll do.
Right. Well, that's what he is. I just wanted the city to work strong and stop the fighting and in words of Rodney King, can we all just get along? And so that's his personality, and it may work. It may work. So we'll see.
Yeah. So Brandon Scott thanked his colleagues and the city council vice president, Sharon Middleton, who served as the acting president while Jack Young was the acting mayor. So it was between those two that the vote was, but ultimately he got the unanimous.
Yeah, I was surprised
vote.
Myself.
This is surprising, and so he had this to say: "To the people of Baltimore, I never expected to be here, but you have helped prepare this kid from Park Heights, to be ready for the very big responsibility of this position." So,
okay, Brandon Scott.
Yeah, 35 years old. And as I said, Sharon Middleton is going to continue to be the vice president So it seems to me like this is the dawn of a new era in leadership in Baltimore. I could be wrong.
Possible.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, possible.
Because you brought up a good point that most the people who are passionate voters are older.
Mm-hmm.
So are they going to really support any candidates, any young candidates that would run for mayor? Historically, that has not really been the case. But I mean, Brandon Scott was very young coming in. He came in 2011. He's 35 now, so he was in his 20s when when he got elected. So, what do you think? Do you like this? Do you like him?
He's okay. I'm not excited.
He doesn't
about
excite you. Yeah.
He came in under Larry Young's tutelage. Yeah.
Okay.
He was under. He was encouraged to run, for city council, and Larry taught him some things about government connections.
Birds and bees. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. So WJZ fires.
Yeah.
The longtime anchor Mary Bubala. Bubala?
Yeah, right.
Is she French?
Yeah,
Bubala.
Yeah, Bubala.
My bad. Okay.
Yeah.
So they confirmed today that they have parted ways with her longtime anchor.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Do you say anchoress for his female? Just anchor?
Just anchor.
Longtime anchor following a controversial question that she asked on the air. So, a lot of people may wonder, like, what could somebody say that's been in her position for so long to get fired?
That quickly.
Yeah. So she said this. She said, we have had 3 female African-American mayors in a row. And she was speaking to a Loyola University professor and Carsonia Whitehead. And she said they were all passionate public servants. 2 resigned, though. Is this a signal that a different kind of leadership is needed to move Baltimore City forward? That's what she said.
And a hush came over the crowd.
Yes, a hush came over the crowd. The question drew swift backlash, including from Baltimore Association of Black Journalists. And so, what do you think about the statement question from her?
Well, you mentioned that last week, whether people were going to be thinking that way, and I hadn't thought about it until you mentioned it. And you're right. That's how some people were thinking. And obviously, if that had been 3 white males. Or 3 white males, they wouldn't have said that. If they had been black males, they would have said the same thing. And they might have said if it had been 3 white women in succession, they might have said that. But with white men, they never would have said that.
Now, what you mean by that is, if there had been 3 white politicians in a row, male politicians in a row, and 2 of them stepped down, people wouldn't be saying, is there time for different type of leadership for the city? No. Because when the corruption happens, it's usually 2 white males to do it.
Right.
So,
strong statement. I didn't think about it like that. But that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
The first corrupt people were Europeans.
That's true. Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
They invented corruption.
That's why they sent them over here.
Right. And it's just like, it's so, that's what frustrates me so much about Donald Trump, is that he's so corrupt. Everybody knows he's corrupt. And just like, okay, I mean, we know, they just accept it. Right. But Catherine Pugh, and I said I wasn't going to really talk about her today, but Catherine Pugh, they act like the corrupt, oh my God, we have to be above this. Exactly. And she's not even corrupt. She didn't file some paperwork. Right. How many times have we heard the president's children or his son-in-law having to go back to amend their applications You know what I mean?
Hundreds of times.
Yes, because all this is to me is an error in paperwork. She didn't report some things. She should have checked some boxes. She should have said this. It's not like she failed to disclose that she had foreign entanglements.
Right.
She failed to disclose she sold some books.
Mm-hmm. Her books that she wrote
in the city that reads.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we can't forget we're the city that reads.
And what's the name of it? Healthy.
Yes.
Holly. I mean,
she tried to do something for the white people because Holly is, you don't get whiter than that.
Right. I never heard of a black person named Holly.
There's no black people named Holly. Right. And so, and for her troubles, you know what I mean? And here's the other thing, and I know it's not on the paper, but this is really bothering me. Those people from 98 Rock going out to Catherine Pugh's house outside. Yeah, you serious? You joking?
No.
Yeah. So the people from 98 Rock, the radio station 98 Rock, outside of her house, you know, with bullhorns and saying stuff and making a big ruckus outside of her house.
No.
Yes. They wouldn't do that to anybody, any other politician.
They need to go to Washington, right where Donald Trump is.
Yes. Yeah, so it's just the amount of disrespect that is shown for this lady.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so what happened to even this president? No, forget him. Even Nixon, they gave Nixon a certain amount of respect because he was the former president, even though he left in disgrace. Because you give the office some respect, even if you know just the office. The mayor of Baltimore, that office doesn't garner any respect from the citizens. None.
Right. And then you're right. And then when Nixon was pardoned, they gave him. He was still considered a statesman, an elder statesman, and he spoke and he got paid for speaking.
He still got a detail.
Yeah, and
she don't have no detail. No, we can't get some club bouncers stand in front of her house or something. You know what I mean? People shouldn't just be able to walk up to her house and just, you know what I mean, disrespect her property and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the lady on the corner of the block I grew up on Bernice had more respect for her yard than they having for Catherine Pugh's yard.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. And this is an elderly lady.
Yeah,
70 years old.
Right. So it just it bothers me.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So, but
if any more of you go down there from Rock, I'm coming. From 98 Rock, we coming.
Yeah.
98 Rock, we coming. Bull horns. What is she charged with again? I forgot.
She's been charged with nothing. She's been charged with nothing. Nothing. So going back to the longtime anchor, WJZ TV was quick to cut ties with her, confirming they parted ways with her following her controversial question, and they released a statement saying she is no longer an employee, and we apologize to our viewers for her remarks. And
we got enough problems going around here.
They said, no. So
she is very expendable. Is that
they let you. Yeah, this don't mean nothing. Okay, she could be gone. Okay, so she apologized on Twitter today. And she said also on Facebook that she confirmed she had been fired, and she apologized again for what she said. And she wanted to apologize on air, but WJZ said, no, thank you. Okay, we good. Just give us your badge and your keys, and take anything else you have out of the refrigerator because.
and Ronald will escort you downstairs.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's like, I'm sorry, Miss Mary. It's nothing personal for her.
I'll carry that box for you.
Right. Which one is your car? Oh, it's that one right there. Yeah, and that parking space. She had the same parking space.
She said that they're red Mercedes.
And, someone else said, can I get her space? She got a closed space right to the front door.
Yeah.
So on to some very troubling news.
Yeah, again.
New cell phone footage of Sandra Bland's arrest has been released, and this is her cell phone footage. Now, before being arrested and ultimately found dead in the Dallas jail cell, Sandra Bland recorded footage of her arrest during the traffic stop that was almost 4 years ago. 4 years. And in the footage, you can see her being confronted by an angry officer. And at the time, she was 28 years old. She can be seen recording the officer who's raising his voice at a woman, pointing a taser at her. A woman. Bland is not doing anything to warrant this officer, male officer, pulling a weapon on her. Beyond, she's just filming. She's not.
Let me say this: if that had been your sister, my daughter, he wouldn't be here no more. I'm telling you that now. He wouldn't be here anymore. It's just horrible. And then seeing this footage too.
Yeah.
Ain't no way possible.
Yeah.
None. I'm saying it on air. No way possible. He would be here today.
After doing that. Yeah.
No, to my daughter.
And so it's very troubling. And if you get a chance, I didn't want to play it, but if you get a chance, take a look at that. The thing about the footage is that it severely counteracts the claims made by the trooper Brian that he was in fear for his life. He said he was in fear for his life, and you can look at that video and tell he was not in fear for his life.
How's a man with a gun, a taser, in fear of a woman?
Right.
Who don't have no gun? I think. Oh well, she did have something. She had a cigarette, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
She had a cigarette. Now that's dangerous. He could have been scared of the cigarette.
Yeah.
But that's incomprehensible.
Yeah. And so the family of Sandra Bland did not know that this footage existed. And the investigative team showed the footage to them. And naturally, they were upset. They feel that the case should be reopened.
Absolutely.
And they're going to push for that. So this definitely gives you this. And this is something that they had and withheld.
Yeah, exactly.
Withheld. Did not want the public to see it.
Right.
Naturally, because it's incriminating.
Exactly.
How many times? I mean, and this is the thing that always bothers me. You know, if you run that red light, it's going to capture you. But when you need cameras to capture stuff like this, and the officers in the wrong, don't work. Camera wasn't working. No camera was working. But if you did something, they would have multiple angles. If they need it, they can have multiple angles of everything that's happening. You know what I mean? And it's.
I mean, it's just like the Brown case.
Yes, Michael Brown. Yeah.
Michael Brown. He was in fear of his life. Now, what man is going to attack a police officer? The guy pointing a gun at me, and I'm going. He was coming at me like, this is crazy. This is what they did 100 years ago when they hung black people on a regular basis. It was always he tried to rape my daughter. And then now the cliche is that I was threatened. That's the go-to word, paragraph, statement, phrase. And
then we have multiple counts where young men are shot in the back. If you're in fear, how are these guys getting shot in the back?
And
that means they're going in the opposite direction where you were.
The police officer, if you remember, in South Carolina, it's about 5 years ago, South Carolina stopped this guy by the taillights. He was running. He got out the car and ran. He shot him in the back.
I remember that.
Another guy
on the street.
On the
sidewalk,
yeah. And the guy was filming it, across the street. And if he hadn't been filming it, then he would have got off.
Oh, definitely.
The police officer would have got off.
Yeah.
Completely. And like you said, he was shot in the back.
Multiple times.
Yes.
If I'm going the opposite way, how are you still in fear? Assuming that you ever were in fear.
And in New York, when they strangled the guy by the cigarettes.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. Broke him.
Yeah, that was so troubling. That was just that was just one of the most disturbing things ever.
Well, you know what? The most disturbing, including this Sandra Bland, was the incident in Minnesota when they stopped the guy in the car, and he told him, "I do have a gun." He shot.
You talking about when his girlfriend was in the car? Yes,
that was horrendous.
And she was taping though.
Yes, yeah, she went live.
That was just very, very disturbing.
And I heard some of the conservative commentators say, why was she so calm? How could you be taping under these circumstances? Mm-hmm. You have to think for yourself and not get caught up. I'm glad
she was taping though.
Yeah, but it's just as you says, as you indicate on this show, that this is radio, urban radio, alternative radio, news for you, your news, and it's getting bad. It's just, I feel so bad for this Bland family. Mm. And 4 years, so they had a little time to heal, and then it opened up, and you can see
literally ripped the scab off.
Your daughter and your sister, your niece, granddaughter was abused like this.
Yeah, because we definitely have to say that they tried to act like she committed suicide.
They always do that.
Which is the craziest. Is the craziest.
That's another go-to. It's either this person was threatening to me, or he committed suicide. The police officer here in Baltimore, he left home that morning. Knew I got to go to court the next day. I'm gonna go to the alley and I'm just gonna kill myself. It's just
it doesn't make sense. And the fact that they insult our intelligence with this type of explanation for something is also troubling.
Yeah.
How dumb do you think we are?
But we've been accepting it.
Yeah.
And they say, we ain't got to change it. Say the same thing. I was threatened. Or they hung it. Or he killed himself. Here's the evidence. Yeah, he had a gun in his hand. Killed himself. He was drunk. My father never had a drink. Well, yeah, he had a drink that night, son. This is what they tell you.
Yeah. So just to remind people, as far as Sandra Bland, the officer was charged with perjury after an investigation showed that he falsely claimed that in his police report that she assaulted him. However, the charges were later dropped as part of a deal that he agreed to give up his very valuable law enforcement license. Mm-hmm. So that's it. That's all that happened. Unbelievable. If the officer had been black and the guy had been white, would it the same way have happened? Is the blue sheet? Does the blue badge of honor stuff? Does that extend past race?
We can look at. Ironically, I read something today. It was an officer in, I think it was Minnesota. He was black, and he shot a white woman and killed her because I think that they said they were called to a shooting, or it wasn't domestic. It was something, and they were in the alley. The police officer was in the alley, and I think the lady who called is the one that got shot. I think they came up on him, and they were he. I think he was scared, and he shot her, and he killed her. She's a white lady, and they just convicted him of first degree murder.
You don't say.
I saw it today in I think it was in Minnesota.
You don't say. Mm-hmm. Now, in that instance, I could see you could possibly be in fear in a dark alley.
Right.
Minnesota is cold outside. Mm-hmm. Anything could be happening.
Right. They said it was a shooting. It was
and a shooting.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
It was a shooting.
Yeah. So So this ain't good. This ain't good. But Dad, thank you as always. Another great show. Mm-hmm. Of course, we'll be back next week with more news and more discussion. Anything you want to say?
No.
Yeah.
No. I know it's gonna be a lot to talk about next week.
No doubt. We went
Yeah.
through, and there was stuff we could have talked about, obviously, but we went through a whole show without talking about the current occupant in the White House.
Right, we did.
Yeah,
we did,
so-
and we went without talking about all the shootings of last week. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
you know, so it's a whole, like you said, it's a lot that can be dealt with.
Yeah.
Dealt with, but
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah. Definitely, as always, shows available on demand if you miss any episodes. Want to catch up, radioandfire.com/father and son.